The Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast, sponsored by the Lockdown Defense Sports Network, is our weekly show dedicated to elite advice in standard leagues, PPR, and dynasty leagues. We are not guaranteeing you will win anything by our advice, but if you do, we want our cut. Enjoy the show. Are you tired of losing at fantasy football? Well, have a seat. You come to the right place. You're now tuned into the show where champions are made, where speed meets strategy, elite advice, rapid fire analysis, and winning lineups are provided. It all happens faster than Tyreek Hill's 40 time. So strap in. Let's dominate your draft, crush your matchups, and take a ride all the way to that fantasy goal right here on the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Defense, alongside the real AG Alice Givens. What's going on out there? How's everybody feeling? We're getting closer and closer to that playoff run. We got 2 games left. 2 weeks left, 2 weeks of prep. Let's put up a shut up now.
Quite literally.
We're going to have to get it done and get it done right. So we're here to get you that goal fast. If you're trying to get to that goal fast, the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast is where you want to be. We're trying to get you there fast. So we got 2 games left. Man, if by now, if you are on the cusp, you want to put your best foot forward. If you're already in, don't flounder, don't fall off the cliff, and we'll get you going and get you ready for week 15. So, the real AG, let's give us good brother. How you feeling on this Turkey Eve?
Yeah, man, feeling good, Coach. Yeah, happy Turkey Eve to everyone out there. And like you said, man, put up or shut up time. So excited to see where some of my teams are at after this week. Let's just put it that way.
Indeed. Ironically enough, I'm competitive for sure in our redraft league. Everything else, I'm just trying not to finish last.
Yeah. just trying to survive.
Just trying to survive. Playing spoiler right now, though. I'm one of a little bit of a heater in my ESPN league. Shout out to the Electric Shock Podcast League. We're doing a league there as well. So I'm not last, and I'm playing spoiler. I'm beating the top teams now. Now everybody's healthy, and now everybody want to play, but it's a little bit too late.
All you can ask for sometimes.
True. I got the little asterisk by my name already. Say, yeah, he's mathematically out of there. So, we're just playing spoiler.
It's all for those little moral victories, the program builders, as we call them.
Indeed.
It's a recruiting tool for next year.
Right, exactly, for next year. Indeed. So yeah, man, we're gonna get right. We're gonna get into week 13. We're gonna give everybody their quick and fast fantasy advice to get you ready for week 13. But if you're looking for us in between shows, we have a hotline number. You can give us a call at 240-249-2220. If you want to leave us a voicemail, you got a quick, baby in hand, wife nagging, you need to get a quick fantasy call in real quick. And just hit us up real fast, to let us drop us a line and we'll get back to you. Please let us know how we can reach back out to you if you do drop a voicemail. But again, hit us up, if you got any quick fantasy football questions on our hotline number. Is that there right there for you on the screen? But getting into the week in review, like we always do at the top of the podcast, we review our fantasy drafts that we have going on, our fantasy leagues. We have 1 redraft league and 1 dynasty league. So we're going to get into the week 12 recap. We're going to talk about the redraft league and the dynasty league, how everybody did and who's facing who this week. Coming up is definitely some matchups that are pivotal, and you got to get wins now because playoff berths are on the line. And in that dynasty league, man, it is rough sledding. It is literally like 1 game apart from out of the playoffs and in the playoffs. So, yeah, it is definitely rough sledding. So, starting with the redraft league, The matchup that happened over the past week, week 12, I got a victory over Robert. Shout out to your Chiefs for holding down
Yes,
Jonathan Taylor. So we got the victory there. Appreciate that. So we got that going for us. And then you took a rough one against Josh. He had Jameer Gibbs,
Yeah.
so we know what that is. We
It
know
was
what
a
that
tough
is.
one.
It definitely was. So yeah, got that going for yourself. But you'll bounce back though. Again, you don't face Jameer Gibbs every week. That's for sure. 5 got a victory over Kurt / Taco, 125 to 105. Coach D Bev got a victory over Keith, 105 to 77. Cody got a victory, narrow victory over DZ. DZ looking like he's slipping a little bit over there. I don't know what's happening. 96 and 90. So he's 93 now, and Coach Mike Dubs a little bit of heater himself. 115 to 193 over Cool Cavs. So Cool Cavs at 500. Mike Dubs sniffed it at 5 and 7. All right. So in the Dynasty League, I couldn't take down I couldn't take down a big dog like you did. That's all I can say. I couldn't do it. I got close, but I didn't have a secondary quarterback in my super flex, so only had one. So
Yeah,
I think that might have put me over the top.
So it's a tall order without that.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. So I couldn't get a dub against S Boyles. He's still riding high, 10 and 2, 121 to 100. You got you and Panda had a little bit of a rough patch there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 138 to 104 on your side. Nightmare beat up on B Shank, 151 to 114. Jeez. Drew Dudley, 147 to 104 over Team Spice. Go Farmer, 128 to 93 over Jacob. And S Rich, 183 to 137 over Roddy Shank. So yeah, S Rich is rolling. He's in the second spot right
steaming,
now.
Dude.
Yeah, he is rolling.
Without Penix too. That's the crazy thing.
That's the crazy thing. So yeah, his team is definitely solid. So yeah, shouts out to S Rich, who I ironically play this week. I think the Dynasty League gods are punishing me. I got to play S Boys one week and S Rich the next. So yeah, it's not looking good.
Giving you a primo opportunity, dude. Be a little spoiler,
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it though. We'll see. We'll see. But getting into the week 13 matchups in its entirety, man. Some good ones here. In the standings, before we get into that, we have Robert still at the top. Him and DZ at the top of 93. He's up there on points. I'm 8 and 4 right behind him. And D Bev is 6 and 6 at 4. Cody is 6 and 6 at 5. 5 at 6 is 6 and 6. Q Kev is 6 and 6 at 7. Keith at 5 and 7 at 8. You at 5 and 7 at 9. Mike Dub 5 and 7 at 10. Josh 5 and 7 at 11, and Coach Kurt is at 2 and 10 at 12. So yeah.
I think everyone excited Kurt still has a chance though.
They do. We're looking at one game. The 6 and 6 route is 6. But you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams sniffing it. So
big week.
So speaking of that, we got some good matchups here. You and I are going against each other, ironically.
I know it.
Yeah, so we got a good matchup going there. Robert got to face Josh. Robert got to face Josh. Coach D Bev got to play 5. Keith's got to play Kurt. It's I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but DZ going against Cool Cav and Cody going against Mike Dub. So yeah, man, you got 6 and 6, 5 and 7, 9 and 3, 6 and 6, 5 and 7 playing 2 and 10, 6 and 6 playing 6 and 6, 9 and 3 playing 5 and 7, and 8 and 4 playing 6 and 6. So yeah, man, 5 and 7. Excuse me, 5 and 7. Okay. All right, good stuff. So in the Dynasty League, of course, S Boys still at the top of 10 and 2. S Rich right behind him, 9 and 3, and everybody else is right in the mix. We got a 75 Jacob. We got a 6 and 6 B Shank. Drew Dudley 6 and 6. Panda 6 and 6. You at 6 and 6. Nightmare 5 and 7. Riley Shank at 5 and 7. A Go Farmer at 5 and 7. And rounding out was me and Spice with 4 and 8 and 3 and 9. So yeah, if I can just not finish blast, I'd be good. Now, question. No, the person with the last worst record, they get the first pick in the draft.
That is correct, I believe.
Well, maybe I want
that. Yeah, let me confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's it. And then it's the worst record gets one, but I'll look at it. I don't think it's like the person that wins the consolation bracket. That'd be stupid.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't win a Sacco necessarily, but I wouldn't mind having the first pick.
No, you wouldn't mind it.
Not at all. All right, good deal. So I go against Esrich this week. Like I said, another tough matchup for me, and the projection is not looking good. B Shank and Panda play each other. That's gonna be a good matchup. Both 6-6 teams. You got you going against Nightmare. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a
Take
good
his
one.
bitch ass down, dude.
Yes, got that going. You got Drew Dudley going against the Go Farmer. That's gonna be a good one. 6-6 versus 5-7. So somebody gonna flip in the seeding nets in that matchup. We got Jacob going against Spice. So that'll be an interesting one. And we got S Boys going against Riley Shank. So yeah, there'll be some good ones there. So we'll see how things fold up, and we have one step closer to the playoffs coming next week when we review it next week on the show. All right, so let's talk about getting into the rankings of the week. Who played good? Who had the best performance of week 12? Some interesting names on this list, to say the least, man. Wow.
Yeah, for real.
Really all I can say. There's definitely some interesting names on this list, man, for sure. And getting into that, we have Jameis Winston in a losing effort at 32 points in the top quarterback of the week. Jalen Hurts with 30.9. And another losing effort, ironically, and Dak Prescott right behind him at 28.1. Cam Ward on the list. The first time in the whole season he's been on a good list.
Crazy. Flip the script on him.
Totally. 23.9 at number 4. And Matt Stafford doing MVP-like things with 22.9. So, yeah, man, some good quarterbacks there. Didn't expect to see Cam Ward or Jameis Winston on this list at all. So, shocker there.
Jameis Winston went Travis Hunter mode, dude. Caught a receiving touchdown, did it all.
He did it all. He did it all for sure. And we'll say a quick prayer for everybody had to face Jahmyr Gibbs this week because that's just bananas what he did.
Yeah.
Literally, and half PPR format was 49.9. Man, we're talking about one guy winning the league for you just in one performance. That's crazy. He's just gonna win a week for you. I think somebody showed me a clip where somebody had Jackson Smith and Jigba and him in their lineup. Can you imagine having 100 points between the two? Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So then Emmanuel Wilson came through with 25.5 in relief duty of Josh Jacobs. Christian McCaffrey is a PPR demon with 23.7 in his performance on Monday night. And Derrick Henry showed out and finally to get his name on a good list, 21.8. And Aston Gentry of all people, another unsung hero here with 20.8. So that was good. It was good for them. So yeah, so some unsuspecting names and some household names. So yeah, but if you had to face Jahmyr Gibbs or Jackson Smith, we're sorry. We're sorry for you. We'll say prayer for your lineup. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. And then yeah, man, for our wide receivers here, it was I'd say a little bit more of household names and people kind of living up to their preseason hype a little bit. First and foremost, we had Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's been on this list, I think, almost every week with 33.1, just on an absolute heater of a season. Wan'Dale Robinson had the most unreal first quarter / first half I've ever seen from someone. Basically had all 26.1 of those in that first half, which is crazy. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 25.4. George Pickens, 25.1. And then A.J. Brown, again in the loss with 21 points. Actually would have had another one had they not called a touchdown back. I can't remember why they called it back, but he almost had another touchdown. So that's a good sign, maybe, for him. And then for our tight ends, we had Hunter Henry getting back into the mix. Very up and down season for him. He had 21. Colston Loveland kind of solidifying himself in that Bears offense. He had 12.9. Trey McBride coming around.
I think we lost Alex. He's frozen. He's frozen. Hopefully, there we go. He's back.
That was weird. Yeah. But yeah, Trey McBride had 12.4. Colby Parkins 12.1, and the unknown of who would fill in for Higbee, and Brenton Strange with 11.8 finish it out, returning from the IR.
Yeah,
and balled out in Jacksonville.
And getting buckets in Jacksonville. I like it. 11.8. Not bad. Okay. All right. And for the defense and kickers, Green Bay Packers came through with 18, and so did the Rams as well in their matchups. Arizona Cardinals been on this list a couple of times now for defense. A little quick sidebar. They play defense like this, that might save Jonathan Gannon's job, but we'll talk about that on the Lockdown Blitz.
They get a lot of turnovers. I feel like a few picks here and there, fumble or
some crazy, but they getting points from a fantasy perspective. That's for sure. might be a sneaky matchup, come playoff time. We'll get into it. But yeah, Falcons with 16. Ironic in that matchup with Kirk Cousins playing quarterback, and then the Browns playing good ball against the Raiders. As always, they've been, with Myles Garrett getting 10 sacks a game practically. So yeah, and indeed. And my guy, my man, the new kicker in New England, Andy Borgalis, saved my bacon in our redraft league. 18 points because Dicker the kicker was on a bye, so I had to pick up Borgalis, and he got me 18. I'm loving that. That. Harrison Bucker with the walk-off win in KC with 16. Zane Gonzalez with 15 from Atlanta. Cam Little Legatron with 13. And Jason Myers with 13 from Seattle. So good weeks for the kickers, man. Good weeks for the kickers.
Yeah, that's some boomers. It's very boomer bust with the kickers, though, man. It's
like that ain't tight end. It's really feast or famine.
Yeah, tight end especially this year. I feel like there's just not been anything consistent out of anyone, really.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah. If you look back at our shows, you look at the list we had week to week, you can see it's always different names. It's never consistent.
Except for like that little stretch when CeeDee Lamb was out, Jake Ferguson was on there every week.
Yeah,
but that's because they had nobody else.
That part. Yeah. And they were doubling George Pickens every play.
Yeah. All
right. So talking about the good people, we got to talk about the bad as well. People that make you want to feel like you just want to say,
"You're killing me, Smalls."
You're killing me, Smalls. Who's the worst performers of the week? Who makes you want to put the bag over your head? Who played bad? Another interesting list, another group of people that you don't necessarily expect to be on a naughty list in certain spaces, but we'll talk about it. So who was the bad guys this week? Who may cost you a victory in week 12? Who are they? Josh Allen, for starters.
Crazy.
10.1. Reigning MVP coming in with a bad performance in week 12. That's ironic. Tyler Shuck. Just murderous on Thursday night. 10 sacks he took. Yeah, it's crazy. Yep. And 8.9 with Tyler Shuck. Mason Rudolph with 8.5. And Lamar Jackson on this list, of all people, 7.1. And so is Jordan Love. He's talking about playoff teams having these quarterbacks with these quote unquote bad performances, just bad business. Now Lamar won his matchup. Josh lost his. Did the Packers win last week?
I believe they did. Okay. Yeah, they beat the Vikings 23-6. Emmanuel Wilson, dude. He was the Emmanuel Wilson show.
It was. So that's why Jordan Love is at 7.1. I got you. Okay, so there's that. On the naughty list for the running backs, Rico Dowdle, who was on the heater, he's 9.4. Saquon Barkley with 8.9, and he's on this list a little too much for my liking. I have him in Dynasty, so that's part of the course why we're not doing that well. Woody Marks on his list as well, 7.4. We thought he's going to be a revelation in the Texans. They're not running the ball. Rashad White, who's going to probably be even further down the list on the totem pole with Bucky Irving coming back, 4.7. Then Ramondre Stevenson, that's just me.
Hey, at least we're happy to see it, brother. He was back in the lineup, and it was still the Trevion show, so I like to see that.
Yeah, but why is he even touch the football at this point? I'm just like, yeah.
I know, but we welcome it at this point, him being right here, okay?
Yeah, true. Yeah, and not on the other list, and Trayvon being on this list.
Yes,
I get
exactly. You got to look at the glass half full sometimes,
Not bad. I like it. Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, man, for our wide receivers, we definitely had some big names, definitely underperformed. First and foremost, Emeka Egbuka was, best of the worst, I guess, with 4.7. It was just a rough game for Tampa Bay with Baker going down at half.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Rams were in their bags. It was tough. Trey Tucker has just been grossly underperforming as wide receiver 1 in Vegas with 4.3. Romeo Dobbs in just that ugly game for Green Bay, at least passing wise, had 3.3. Stephon Diggs, who I thought was going to have a pretty primed week against the Bengals, put him in my perfect lineup. Got the egg on my face with that one. He got 3 points there. And then Darius Slayton, who was back into the lineup. All targets, as you saw, went to Wan'Dale Robinson. So he finished the day with 2.8.
Yeah.
And then, then for our tight ends, we had, Dallas Goedert with 3 points, best of the worst. Mark Andrews, very boomer bust with Mark Andrews. Well, really, any of these guys are very touchdown dependent at this point. Mark Andrews didn't get one of those, 1.6. Dalton Schultz against that Bills defense Thursday night, 1.3. Luke Musgrave, who I don't think has scored more than 2 points yet in any game that he's been the starting tight end. He had 1.2. And then Jatavion Sanders, who we thought might have a sneaky day, and what we thought Monday night would be a shootout. It wasn't that, obviously. He finished with 1.1. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Very dissatisfying. That's all we can really say. And like I said, a lot of these guys, we just had primo matchups and they just didn't cash in. You just can't explain it. Just can't explain it. But for the bad defenses of the week, some names I don't like to see on this list either. The Detroit Lions with 3. Jets, they're just a dumpster fire. So you get what you get. Vikings, same thing. Chiefs didn't expect to see them on this list either with 1, but at least they got the dub. And Tampa Bay had a flat out goose egg. So yeah, that's rough.
Tough. It was a tale of two halves for KC, I will say. Second half, they were lights out.
They did play really good defense in the second half, definitely that. And they held Jonathan Taylor down that whole game. I like that for sure.
Yeah.
But but yeah, so the kickers, Chris Boswell with 4, Blake Groupie with 4, Jake Elliott. I think they actually might have got Blake Groupie fired. I think he got a cut with his 4 points. And then Jake Elliott
Cade York.
Yeah, and this Cade York.
Almost Justin Tucker. But
how about that? How about that? We ain't gonna gloss
forgot
over
about
that.
him, to be honest.
I did too. Jake Elliott with 3, Ryan Fitzgerald. You want to call Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzgerald with 3 with Carolina, and Chauncey McLaughlin with 1 for Tampa Bay. So those are your horrible defenses and kickers for the week. So yeah, hopefully we can have a bounce back week for playoff teams or teams that are vying for the playoffs. Let's say it that way. All right, so let's move on over down to the bye weeks now. Ironically enough, this week for the holidays, no bye weeks. Week 13.
This year of giving, they gave us no buys.
How about that? So no bye weeks for week 13. Week 14, we got 4 more teams for the last week of the season for the buys. So yeah, right before the fantasy playoffs jump off, we got 4 teams on the buys next week, so we'll cover that. But for right now, everybody's a go. There's no body that's going to be on a bye week that you got to replace. So we'll see how that flows. But there are some injuries though. So we got to get into that. So we got to talk about replacements for injury updates and roster moves. So who's up? Who's on the docket that may or may not play? Who's going to be limited? Who might be on the pitch count? We'll get to all of that. We'll break down everybody that's on the injury report list, and then we'll talk about who we feel like it could be a good replacement for them for either 1 week or long term. So starting with the quarterbacks, interesting list here. CJ Stroud, he's coming back from his concussion. He was a full participant in practice today. So I think that they haven't fully cleared him, but I think that's trending to the point where he's going to play this week. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, with that risk, I would be risk averse, pun intended, when it comes down to him playing, even though he might play, according to Mike Tomlin. He said that he's going to try to wear a brace and try to give it a go this weekend. But again, I don't trust it. I listened to Matt Hasselbeck talk about him playing with a broken wrist, and quite frankly, he said it was very uncomfortable. It was very, I guess you can say, awkward. Having to hand the ball off with the opposite hand or the wrong hand because your hand is banged up, and all these type of nuances that you got to face when it comes down to the idea of your wrist being broken. So even if he is available, I would argue that it's not. I wouldn't expect much if you got to start him. So just keep that under your cap for fantasy purposes. So if you got a better option, I would go that route. Jackson. Well, let me get to JJ McCarthy real quick. I was going to skip over him because I'm just in awe of what they're doing in Minnesota. It's just the jig is up. Okay, we know not Mike McCarthy, but Kevin O'Connell. We know what you're doing here. We know what you're doing here, sir. But apparently he has another concussion. The concussion that wasn't diagnosed during the game. It was diagnosed after the game. He had symptoms after the game, so they put him in protocol, and he's likely not going to play this week. So it's the Max Brosmer show, I guess.
Yes, sir. My new QB in Dynasty, baby.
Okay, you signed up for the Max Brosmer show. Okay,
I had no other option. So.
And I wish they'd have did this last week. I could have picked up Brosman in our Dynasty League and have been okay. But because Justin Herbert was on the bye, so only had to deal with Sam Darnold, which that's feast or famine.
Yeah, right.
But yes, so technically JJ McCarthy has a concussion. So we'll take that with a grain of salt. But he's not going to play this week, most likely. And if you had to start him, in your league, you probably weren't doing that well anyway. Let's just be real about it. So if JJ McCarthy is starting quarterback, then unless you got Jackson Smith, Breeze John and Jonathan Taylor on your roster, I'm sure you're struggling, in my opinion. But that's just me. But you got Jackson Dart, another one that's in concussion protocol, but he did practice full today as well, so he might be a go this week. Although I was enjoying the Jameson Winston show personally.
Right.
What you think? I was enjoying that, so I'm not looking forward to Jackson Dart coming back in all honesty, because I was enjoying the idea of James Winston playing quarterback at least one more time for the one time. So you got that. So he should play. Baker Mayfield, doubtful in my opinion, with AC joint sprain in his non-throwing shoulder. But as you know, if you play quarterback or no football, that although your opposite shoulder is hurt, it still requires torque and movement in that shoulder to get the ball out accurately and with some velocity. So I would argue he's probably not going to
Well,
play
yeah,
this
you
week.
just take one bad hit, man. It's
It's a wrap. Yeah.
it's done. But I will say, I mean, it's kind of do or die time for the Bucks. So
It really is. It really is, because although they lost last week, the Panthers sniffing their tail. So I think
yeah,
they
I
should.
mean,
Should
I
definitely
think
figure it out,
who they
man.
play this week, Arizona. I guess they could rest them this week, and then I think they play the Panthers twice. Here
You're
coming
right.
up. So yeah,
Which is
but I lean
interesting.
with you. It's doubtful.
Yeah, but which is crazy to me that Teddy Bridgewater don't look like he's capable right now at all. And that game, that second half, he looked horrible.
I mean,
You
man,
know,
he was coaching football. Like
he was
he's
last year. He was. They just pulled him out of the
I think
coaching
at the
ranks
start
like,
of
hey,
this year too, until he got like kicked out for paying for his own stuff or something. But
yeah, something
yeah,
stupid. He paid for kids to get home safe and pay for their equipment so they wouldn't be getting themselves killed out there in the field because they didn't have any money. But they suspended him for that. So he's like, well, I'm just gonna play football one more year. Why not? Yeah. So he's there. Yeah. So he's their backup. So we'll see how that goes. But and Jane Daniels, although they're saying he's going to practice on a limited basis potentially this week, he's still doubtful. I don't think he's going to play this week at all. But Terry McLaurin and those guys look like they're coming back, so that should be interesting in that space. But yeah. So and then the last one and the most important news is Joe Burrow. With his toes probable in his game, he should be a full go. In their matchup this week, so he's going to come back and give it a go. So we'll see how that flows. But yeah, man. Those are your quarterbacks. We got. Oh, you did it. Go ahead. Yeah, start Kelsey or Warren.
Kelsey, man, I'm telling you, they're playing the Texans. That defense is filthy. Against Daniel Jones. I think I would start Kelsey against the Cowboys, and that's not the Chiefs fan in me talking.
Got a point. That defense is playing lights out for the
Texans. Josh Allen looked against the Texans defense and just the pressure that they can create.
Yeah.
And I mean,
although the Cowboys defense is much improved, I would argue that if I had to pick the lesser of the two evils, I would definitely start Kelsey. Yeah. What did Kelsey do last week, points wise? You remember?
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't. I don't think it wasn't what he did against Denver, but I'm looking right now. I mean, it wasn't awful. I can't remember. PPR. Let's see what he scored. Never mind. It was pretty awful. 4 points.
Okay.
Yeah. That's standard.
Oh, okay.
PPR. He finished with 8.4. So
not bad for a tight end. Not bad.
Tight end 16. Yeah.
Yeah, I would take 8 over the 0 that Tyler Warren might get.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's your answer, Kelsey, and pray that that he gets more targets this week with Dallas in their defense. But yeah, I think Kelsey's the better option for sure. All right, so talk about injured running backs. Bucky Irvin's likely gonna be at a pitch count in my opinion, but they say he's gonna play this week, so he's questionable. He's questionable for that matchup. Still waiting on word of Trey Benson. Have you heard anything else? Because I haven't. He's supposed to be coming back from IR, but they haven't designated him yet.
All I've ever seen is just that his window is open, and it continued limited today. So I bet he sits one more week.
Probably.
Just the rate
probably.
We're going.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, okay. Now Isaiah Pacheco was questionable in his designation, but he's going to play tomorrow. So
practice fully today and last few days, so he's off the injury report.
I like it.
What that means to be determined, but
true. Yeah. Do you think they're going to elevate Damian Pierce off the practice squad for the game?
No, not. It'll be Pacheco, Hunt, and Edwards-Helaire, and they'll probably rotate all three of them to not rush Pacheco out there, because that's kind of the downside with even Pacheco being back, because now Hunt has shown he could be the feature back, and Hunt was already getting the goal line work. So it's like
Right.
Pacheco would have 80 rushing yards, and Hunt would have 4
2
carries
touchdowns.
for 20, 2 touchdowns.
Right.
It's like
He's the better fantasy option in other words.
exactly, yes.
Okay.
It's a really roundabout way to say that, I suppose.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So Basham Tuden's on the injury report, but I think he played last week, and so I think he'll continue that trend, although he's still got a questionable tag. Josh Jacobs, although he didn't play last week, but he's questionable for this week. I think he's trending towards playing. Aston Jinsey with an ankle popped up at the very end of the Raiders game on Sunday, so he's questionable, but I think he's going to be all right. Now, Alvin Kamara's a different story. I think that they got him as a questionable tag with his knee, but it's not looking good. I think Devin Neal's going to be the guy this week for the Saints, so keep that under your hat. And Mario Hampton was designated to return from they opened his practice window. Jumping ahead of myself, but they opened his practice window on Monday. He's practiced in a limited basis for the last 2 days. And for my money, all the clips I've seen, he looks like he's ready to go. So he said today in the interview that once they relieve the tag, he's gonna be full on. He has no restrictions, so he's feeling good now with that fractured ankle. And Amari DeMarcado with the Cardinals, talk about another Cardinal. He's questionable with ankle as well, so we'll see how that goes. But I think DeMarcado's been in the lion's share to work over there since Benson's been hurt for the most part.
Well, yeah, out these last 2 weeks though, he's been hurt too, so it's been just Bam night, but it hasn't meant much.
I know for the running game. So okay,
right.
All right, so there's your injured running backs there. Wide receivers, nice. Less of a CVS receiver, but still one.
Yeah. It's dimming down a little bit, but still pretty there. But good news, the guy at the top of the list, Terry Scary 2, who've had almost no news about since like week 4, does seem to be on track to play. Might be a kind of a pitch count situation, but at least good to see that nonetheless. Brian Thomas Jr. seems to be on track to be playing as well from what I've seen with that ankle injury, and I think they kind of felt that way anyways, that it'd be a couple weeks out back into the fold. Marvin Harrison Jr. will be, I think, he's practiced back in full, so looks like he might be back on track to play. Let's see, we got Gainwell.
Jameson Williams.
Well, I just answered that for you. It looks like Marvin Harrison's going. He did return to practice today in full, so I would say if Marvin Harrison, for whatever reason, doesn't play, I'm playing Michael Wilson just because, I mean, he's been flourishing in that role. But otherwise, but he also can't really make that decision too because you got Jameson tomorrow.
Yeah. Gainwell to me is a safe bet from a PPR perspective. So I would say
I think you go Gainwell, but maybe pivot to Wilson if Harrison's out, but it's not looking like Harrison's going to be out. So
our feeling is he's going to play. So I think Harrison is a safe bet in that offense, and he'll probably be the number 1 target for Jacoby Brissett. So as long as Marvin's good to go, with no setbacks, he should be over there. So you should have a worry in that space.
Yep. Yeah. Then continuing, we got a couple of hamstring guys, Ayo Mayor and Rashee Rice. Rashee caught his late in the game last week. Mayor was ruled out for week 12, and from what I've seen, looks like he might be ruled out in week 13 as well. Dang, Boyle. Well, got to be here quicker than that.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice, he's full. I think they're just kind of being cautious with it, but I haven't seen anything to say he's not playing. DK Metcalf was, had that ankle injury last week. It was kind of weird because he left the game like 3 times.
I know.
Left, came back. He did not practice today, but I don't know what exactly that means. Because I think it's a good sign that he was back in and back out of the game, in week 12. So we'll just have to kind of monitor the status of that. George Pickens, kind of similar, got banged up, but he is off the injury report and is full go for the Chiefs tomorrow. So we got that. Same with Xavier Worthy. He's kind of carried this ankle questionable designation for a few weeks now and is always fine. So he's full tilt. Rashad Bateman has also been lifted off of the any designation for week 13 with the ankle injury. So he's back in full. I think the only one now is just Drake London. Like I kind of said in my video Monday, I think there's a very realistic chance that he's not playing anymore this year, just with the state that they've been in.
That's a
And
good
that
point.
knee injury
Yeah.
he's dealing with, he's not even. I don't think practice today, and doesn't look possible that he's playing. T. Higgins was already ruled out for the Thanksgiving Day game against the Ravens, so we already have the clarity on that one. And then Matthew Golden, who's been out, I think at least questionable for a few weeks now, is officially questionable for tomorrow. So I doubt he plays, and even if he does, he has not done anything this year to make you think it's going to be any relevant.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Good stuff. And then we got the tight ends short list, but definitely some noteworthiness here in the first two because I believe both of these guys have been ruled out at this point. Brock Wright and Dawson Kincaid both been ruled out, and Michael Mayer is questionable with his ankle. So yeah,
I think you are correct.
yeah. So ironically, I had Brock Wright and Dawson Kincaid on two different teams, so and I think they both been ruled out. So yeah. Yeah, Michael Mayer, which is the secondary tight end to Brock Bowers, obviously, but it's an
They were
interesting note.
using him.
They were, and I know some people have picked him up in deeper leagues. So yeah, so that's a questionable tag for him. So he might be on a pitch count if he does play. But 50-50 chance that he does or doesn't in that space. All right, so let's talk about guys that are there's going to be replacements for you. Oh, we got a quick question here. 12-man league have PPR 2 flex spots. Starters are May, Bijan, Rico, JSN, CD, Hunter Henry, Jency, Abuka. Bench is Caleb, Marks, Neal, Shakir, and Fanning. 1 through 10.
I don't know who you're replacing.
Right. Right.
I think your starters are pretty good there. I don't see
pretty healthy
I
with the
don't
starters.
see the need to put any of those bench people in over anyone
At all.
Let's put it that
At
way.
all. Yeah. I wouldn't move that starting lineup at all because everybody's playing this week. There's no bias, there's no injury designations for your starters. So I think
I guess Abuka, if he's in your flex spot, I didn't think about the Bridgewater component.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But again, the replacements options, would you start?
It'd either be Marks or Neal.
Neal, yeah, Marks or Neal.
Marks or Neal. The problem with Woody Marks is he doesn't score.
Yeah.
He doesn't get red zone carries or looks like he does pretty good, but then he gets Mike Tolberted by Nick Chubb or
Tolbert, that's a good
something
point.
else. So
yeah.
I must lean Neal, assuming Ibuka's in one of your flex spots. It looks like he is. I would lean Neal from the presumption that Kamara is going to be out.
Yeah.
If Kamara's out there, or they say he's going to play in some capacity, I'd almost probably go Marks.
Right. Yeah.
But at that, because if Kamara is playing, you're dealing with the same situation on two sides. And at least Marks somewhat produces in it now.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I would argue that I would just roll with a book and just live with it. But if you're skittish about it, yeah, I'd say Devin Neal's my top guy, and Marks will be my second.
Yeah. I will say the glass half full with Abuka is, Teddy Bridgewater was thrown out there at halftime, and I know he's a vet and all that, but I'd like to think if of a week of knowing that he's running the offense, he might get a little more in tune with the weapons and have a better week.
Just might, yeah. I like that. I like that option. Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, again, yeah. He definitely gonna be out most likely. It doesn't look good from the reports. They haven't just given us a full designation. They kind of playing coy with the injury report. But yeah, I would argue that Neal's probably gonna be the main guy in New Orleans. So yeah, but if I had to choose between the two, I think that it might. I mean, Michael Booker should be all right in my opinion. I'm starting him this week for my team. So yeah, I'm starting him. So we'll see.
I like this approach, Jacob. Yes. That's almost what I wanted to say, but I said in a very respectful way,
I like it.
Very professional manner.
Yeah. He's playing the first number 1 seed. Okay. Playing for the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a definitely important game, but I think your team's gonna be fine. I mean, assuming the guy's team that you're playing isn't as good or better, but yeah, I think you got a pretty good squad there. Got a pretty good squad there, and they got good matchups too. So that's another thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's talk about these replacements real quick. For quarterbacks, again, it's starting to get thin from a replacement perspective, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence is on the number 1 list for quarterbacks that they're likely available in most leagues that only rostered at 40%. Cam Ward coming off a really good week this past week. They saying he should build on that, but the defense is going to face this week, so he's only rostered in 9% of leagues. Shador Sanders as well is only rostered in 8% of leagues for the Browns. He's going to start for another week for them. So those 3 quarterbacks that you can pick up there should be either super flex options or replacements of your quarterback, like Jay Daniels or somebody like that is not going to play this week. Or you want a replacement for JJ McCarthy and or Aaron Rodgers because either they're not going to play or they're just going to play like crap. And those are better options for you. Yeah, that'll be some good pickups here. Running backs, you got Chris Rodriguez, who seems to be getting more and more touches in this Washington offense outside of Jakrosky Merritt. So he's looking like the more reliable fantasy option. He's only rostered in 18% of leagues, so that's that. Dylan Sampson is only rostered in 10% of leagues. He had a nice run touchdown, got a nice long run for a touchdown thrown to from Shador last week. So his usage should go up some since they're trying to focus on shutting down Quishon. So he's only rostered in 10% of the league, so that's a good valuable option. And the aforementioned Devin Neal, he's only rostered in 5% of leagues as of before we started this video. So he's should be a good pickup as well if you haven't done your waivers yet. So those are your quarterbacks and running backs that could be options for you for temporary and long-term fixes. So we'll see how that folds out. But I think Devin Neal is the best bet to produce, being that Kamara's like going to be out.
Yeah, you're getting RB1 potential workload, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
agree with that. For our wide receivers, I think this guy's been on the list a few weeks now, but Christian Watson, almost insulting how he's only rostered in 34% of leagues. I think I noted this in our Tuesday video. He had a damn near 30% target share last week. Like, that is a third amount. Granted, it wasn't that much. Jordan Love had 7 fantasy points, but just the sheer fact that he gets the bulk of that in the passing game, like, he should be rostered in more leagues. He's produced in catching touchdowns. So until he hurts his knee or tweaks his hammy, as he inevitably does,
I think that's the issue why people are scared of him because
I think so. But hey, I mean, if you're in a pinch, Thursday night primetime Packers football, Christian Watson could be your guy. Yeah. Jaden Higgins, another guy we've noted a few times. He's continuing to build in that Texans offense just with his ability. They give him red zone looks. So he could be a quality replacement option at this point, I think. Luther Burden, I think, would be more of a crapshoot, just buying into the building electric Bears offense, but he hasn't really he's had like one big game. Outside of that, you can tell it's a few design plays for him more than anything else. But he's one injury away from being a fixture of a pretty balanced aerial attack, week in and week out. So might as well buy shares into that. For tight ends, we got Harold Fanta Jr., very up or down with the Browns offense, but if a tight end does produce out of Cleveland, it is Fannin, to my chagrin, with Njoku in like 3 leagues, but not anymore. But I had him,
Right.
Yeah, we got Colston Loveland, sort of the same thing. Although I did say earlier, he's kind of been consistently producing with Kmet banged up and just him sort of rising to the top. Feel more good about him just in the state of the tight end union in 2025 of him being a every week option, but he's still widely available. And then Britton Strange, who's returning to the fold with Jacksonville, pretty much stepped right in and had a pretty good game and had really good numbers, through the first 4 weeks before he got hurt. So I feel good about him coming back and picking things up, especially with where Jacksonville's at in terms of playoff hopes, needing to get their passing game going. And they just haven't been able to with anyone outside of Parker Washington, ironically. But
right. Yeah, well, another dark horse for me last week. Parker Washington balled out for me in relief of the suspended Jamar Chase. So so he came through with 16 points for me, in a saving grace. Him and Borgata saved the day for me last week for our redraft league. So shouts out to them. All right. So those are your replacements. Hopefully, if you haven't done your waivers or they're still out there waiting to be picked up, go out and get them now so they can replace for this week for injury or long term. If you got a long term injury, somebody that's on IR or whatever. So yeah, go out and get them today. All right. So let's talk about playoffs real quick. We're going to talk about guys that we feel are going to be air quote fantasy workhorses for the playoffs. Guys that you should target. They're going to have good fantasy matchups, and they're going to be good week in and week out for you for those 3 weeks leading up to the championship game. So if you have these guys on your roster or able to acquire them by any means, we believe that these guys are going to be, the catalyst that's going to carry your team and getting into that fantasy football championship. So who's going to be a dark horses, workhorses, and who we think might be a sleeping giant when it comes down to fantasy production for the playoffs. So getting to that, first and foremost, here are the matchups. I'll make this large for people that want to screenshot it. These are the matchups for the AFC for week 15, 16, and 17. All across the board. So who has the best matchups in this space? I think last week we kind of looked at for the AFC, we looked at Houston. We looked at I think they were the only team on the AFC
there
side.
wasn't a whole lot. Yeah.
Yeah. The AFC's got some pretty tough matchups, but these are the matchups for 3 weeks for the AFC. NFC's here. The NFC's got some primo matchups, so the NFC should be the driving force for fantasy workhorses in all entirety. But because I think the Buccaneers got a really good one, Eagles got good ones, Cardinals, Giants, and 49ers. So they all have good fantasy football matchups for the weeks that are the playoffs. So but yeah, so keep your mind on that. Screenshot that if you need to keep that in your reference guide so you can know who's your guys on your team are facing throughout the fantasy football playoffs. But getting to the workhorses, we feel is going to be, the guys that you can just, ride the wave, and you can definitely, quote unquote, use them in heavy volume situations and get them to their fantasy football championship. So for me, we talk about the Texans. I think Woody Marks, from a pass catching and running perspective, I think he's going to be pretty good, assuming that this defense is going to keep playing lights out and keep giving C.J. Stroud and that offense bites at the apple. I think he's going to be a pretty good workhorse for you. It's taking more and more carries away from Nick Chubb. I think Emeka Egbuka from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to be another good one. Of course, Baker Mayfield is going to be back after probably this week. And then we should get Mike Evans back maybe at the tail end of the fantasy football playoffs, maybe slight chance. But Chris Godwin is there now, so you got another weapon that's going to take attention away from him. So I think he's going to be a good workhorse for you. And Devontae Smith, I think that people are underrating the idea that he is going to be the target for Jalen Hurts. They're going to start really focusing in on the volume that they want to give AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith is a big play waiting to happen. So I think that with their fantasy matchups and with their abilities to get good volume in PPR leagues, I think those three for me are going to be good workhorse for you going into the fantasy football playoffs. So if you have any or all of these guys, they're going to win your championship, in my opinion. So that's my side. All right, AG, what you got on your side?
Yeah, man. So, the first one I'm noting, maybe a little bit of the low-hanging fruit, the guy at the right time, Buck Irving, who should be returning here in week 13. And I think we'll only build from there. He had, a huge role before he got hurt. Every down usage with real receiving work, and is looking at playing the Atlanta Falcons, the Panthers, and the Miami Dolphins in that playoff slate. So pretty good matchups there, assuming he comes back and returns to, vintage Bucky, if you want to call it that.
Right.
This one, not to S. Boyle's demise for giving me him in Dynasty, but I feel good about Aaron Jones as well. The clear lead back in Minnesota over Mason, has steady carries with real route involvement in the passing game. He still holds up pretty efficiently in tight, low-scoring games from a fantasy standpoint. And in my opinion, I think Minnesota's going to have to start running the ball more to support McCarthy or whoever the hell his name is out there, trying to play QB in that system. And then you look at he's playing the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Detroit Lions in that playoff window. Feel great about those matchups as well. And Jones. And then to round it out, I got Jalen Waddle, the clear wide receiver one in Miami with Tyreek out. Volumes when Miami's offense collapses in the games. He's multiple of 80-plus receiving yards. Looking at his playoff schedule, he has Steelers, Bengals, and Bucks defense. So feel pretty good with his matchups as well.
All right. So if you have any of those guys or multiple guys in your lineup or in your just on your roster in general, man, look to play those guys in the playoffs, and it definitely should pay off for you. So watch out for those guys either being available or on your roster, or just via trade deadline that hasn't happened yet. Go out and get them, because I think they're going to be good pickups for you for sure. All right. So getting to the schedule, let's talk about the schedule real quick, and who's on the docket here. Some good matchups here starting tomorrow. We got 3 matchups tomorrow, one on Friday, and then you got a bunch on Sunday, and then the last one on Monday night. So real quick, is anything sticking out to you? I think there's some really good matchups and really tight matchups. I'm not sure if there's a fantasy gold one here. Like it's going to be a lot of scoring in it. But yeah, you got anything on your mind that's going to be some good fantasy points to be gleaned from it?
I this may be a weird one, but 'cause I agree. I don't think there's a lot of like very apparent fantasy gold booming matchups, especially with there's a lot of divisional matchups, at this slate. But I think that Jacksonville Tennessee game is going to become a little bit more boomy. And,
Yeah.
looking at all of them, just with Jacksonville's defense hasn't been that great. I think Cam Ward's starting to take a step forward. I could see
Mhm.
that being more shootouty than it looks on paper, and especially compared to these other ones here.
Right, because I mean, looking at the Denver game, they're playing the Commanders at Washington, but I don't like Denver's offense right
Yeah,
now. So it's kind of
exactly.
like,
It's
yeah,
that should be the most ones like that should be the one you would think, but it's like which Bo Nix is going to show up,
that part.
when.
Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers being iffy with their Buffalo defense. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
wonky matchups here, man. There's not a lot of goals.
Minnesota playing, whoever the hell against
Right, Seattle's
Darnold.
defense. Yeah, yeah, that. That's a kind of revenge game because he's going back to playing in Minnesota for the first time since he left there, at home in Seattle. So that'd be interesting. Yeah, man. I mean, maybe the Chicago. I don't know. I don't trust the Chicago or Philly game either. To be honest.
Oh man, like I
Yeah,
said,
and-
there's not a lot that really. I mean, obviously, you feel good about certain position groups, certain guys' matchups against, the
right.
secondary, their rush defense, whatever. But like I think roster wise as a whole, there's not like a whole lot that you're like, ooh, like I want to
No.
start as many people as I can in that game.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a
I,
tough
I
one.
think the other one, this Arizona Tampa Bay one, I think could be a little bit of a wild card with the Teddy Bridgewater component.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Brissett's been slinging it around,
Right.
maybe even more so with Marvin Harrison back. But like some of these are very lopsided. Like I think like the Rams defense, I think is just going to shut down Carolina. I
Yeah.
think Houston's defense is going to be pretty solid against Indy, and
Yep.
that's a divisional game.
Up.
I think Baltimore, Cincinnati, like a few weeks ago, would have been that fantasy
Right.
gold type shootout potentially, but now
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Even the Raiders
Maybe
Chargers
this
game.
Chiefs,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I think that we should. Well, hopefully, with Hamden coming back, it should be a good show for us. But the Raiders always play tough, so I can't guarantee that's gonna be a shootout either. But for the Chargers
exactly.
anyway. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I think this may be lopsided. So that's actually going to lead us to our best lineup. We talk about perfect lineup here. I think that might lean towards the idea who's going to be good player wise, but the matchups in entirety not that great this week.
A little
Honestly, and
tough.
everybody's
Yeah,
playing right, and there are no buys, so everybody's playing on the docket this week. So you got 16 games? Yeah. All right.
full
So
slate, baby.
yeah, full slate. So for our perfect lineup for week 13, man, I'm going Drake May against the Giants. I like Durake Maya in this matchup. I think he's going to do well against that Giants defense, who are good on paper, but they haven't played good football at all, and they just fired at DC. So that who knows what that defense is going to look like from now on. It's either really good or really bad, but we'll see. But I do like Drake Mays in that matchup. I'm going RJ Harvey against the Commanders. That deep front defense is porous. I think he
Yeah.
should have a good day. I'm going with Devon A. Chain against the Saints. I think he should have a good day against their defense as well. I'm going Nico Collins versus the Colts for sure. History, because every time he's faced the Colts in the previous years, him and CJ Stroud have carved him up. So they do have Sauce Gardner and Tre'Davious Ward now, but I still think that his body type is gonna bode well for his catching passes over those corners. So I
Yeah.
like Nico Collins against the Colts. I like Devontae Smith, who I talked about earlier against the Bears. I think he starts his run here and getting with that Bears secondary. George Kittle against the Browns. I think that's the only person that's going to, him and McCaffrey are going to be the focal point against that Browns defense, because outside of that, the Browns defense is pretty tough. Pretty tough. But I do like George Kittle being the outlet for Brock Purdy against the Browns. And Travis Etienne against the Titans. I think that he's going to continue his rise. He played well again last week, and I think him going against that Titans defense this week should be another good one for him. When I'm doubling down on my guy, Andres Borgales from the Giants as a kicker. I think he have another good week against the Giants, and I'm rounding it out with the Seahawks defense and revenge game for Sam Darnold against the Vikings. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That would have been a way more fun game to watch if JJ, and I guess it still could be, but
yeah,
if JJ was playing a little bit better and healthy going into it, that would be the game of the week, I think. But because
yeah.
of where it's at, it's like,
And my conspiracy brain tells me that he benched JJ McCarthy for that reason because he didn't want Sam Darnold to look so much better than JJ did.
That's what everyone's talking about. Yeah.
And
You're
he
probably
has
not wrong.
I know. He has
Said
egg
JJ.
for Sam Darnold threw for 4 touchdowns and JJ threw 4 picks.
Like JJ is probably in his office, like, I'm ready, coach. This is going to be great. He's like, what are you? You're not making any sense. He's concussed.
Right.
I'm like Shutter Islanding him, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not concussed. You've been you're a patient here.
Yeah, put a
not even JJ.
What is it? What do you got? What's gonna put a guardian cap on him and get him some sunglasses?
Get him in a little. But yeah, for my perfect lineup, if you guys have been keeping up with the show, I love to dump on the Cowboys defense in these things. It's usually boded me pretty well, and I would not be a true Chiefs fan if I didn't bask in the opportunity to pick my own squad to dump on the Cowboys defense. So I am starting with my perfect QB early in the Week 13 slate with Patrick Mahomes going against Dallas tomorrow. I mean, every game is a playoff game for the Chiefs at this point. They cannot lose, and they're going to need to build, and score more points than they have been. So I think we see a little bit like Mahomes has been pretty dominant against, quote, mediocre pass defenses this year, and Dallas is improving, but still very much is kind of in that category. So I feel good there. I got Chase Brown running back going against the Ravens with Burrow coming back. Chase Brown's been heating up the past few weeks. I think they use that to take some pressure off of Burrow with the unknown of coming back from that turf toe. I got Jaylen Warren going against the Bills. Like, come on, it's the Bills rushing defense. Everyone eats against them.
Yeah.
So come on. Y'all know I love the stack bundle. So again, going with my boy Rashid, going against the Cowboys. I mean, he has been the consistent guy in that offense, the one that seemingly the passing offense goes through. So I feel good there. I got A.J. Brown doubling down from his performance last week on Black Friday with the Black Friday special against the Chicago Bears, and that defense that has been kind of very meh, at this point. So I think Philly's going to come out to make a statement, whether they play a complete game or not to be determined, but I see them building off what they did last week. I got Mark Andrews in the AFC North showdown, boomer bust tight end performance. I think he connects with Lamar at least once, maybe twice in this game. So I feel good with Mark Andrews. I picked your boy of my flex, Ladidi McConkey, going against the Raiders. I mean, somebody's going to have to eat against that Raiders defense. They're going to pass the ball, especially I think if Hampton's back in the fold. They don't, just give him 20 carries, 30 carries. I think they, use the running game, but pass the ball a lot because everyone does against the Raiders. So feel good there. Perfect defense. I got the Rams going against the Panthers. We tried to buy into the Bryce Young hype. It wasn't great. And Panthers have shown that they're really only good when they can run the ball. And the Rams defense is pretty stout against the run. So, as well as they're just pretty damn dominant at creating pressure, getting sacks. So feel good there. May even see Aaron Donald come back from what I've been seeing. And hey, Frank Ragnow did, so it's not out of the question.
It's not. It's not.
And then to round it out, my perfect kicker, we got Cam Legatron Little going against the Titans, AFC South matchup. Jacksonville seemingly needed their kicker to squeak out wins here and there. May need that again here in Week 13.
I like it. Okay. Yeah, I left Rashid Rice for you because I wanted to put him on my lineup. I got to let my boy have his own guy. I know you want to pick him.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I was like, yeah, let me have his boy. And I just felt like a homer picking Lad McConkey, although I think he will do well against his Raiders secondary. So we'll see. Definitely like those picks. So yeah, if you have any of those guys or multiple guys in your lineup, I think you have a good week. This has the best ball feel as well as who's going to play well from a person position perspective. And if you have any of these guys on your lineup or you can acquire them, trust me, they should have good weeks. So let us know next week how they matched up for you, and hopefully we can get you a dub this coming week.
Yeah, and I let you guys know when mine are bad, and they're not.
Yeah, we're honest. We're honest.
It's few and far between when I let you know they're bad.
There's
a lot that are good.
Our hit rate is pretty good. Our hit rate is definitely pretty good on these picks. On these picks, just let the fans know. Why not? All right, so we're gonna do a quick Q&A period. If anybody's in the chat that hadn't got their questions off so far, please drop your questions real quick in the chat so we can get that answered before we get out of here. But yeah, we hope everybody has a great holiday weekend. Get some
Yes,
good football
sir.
going. We got football practically every day this week, outside of Saturday, and Saturday's college football. So hey,
Love it.
last
We
week college
love.
football, last week of the regular season, so that should be a good one as well. So kick back, put your feet up, watch football for what 5 days. Go
Yeah.
and
It's the best
and
time of
then
year, man. They start pivoting the games. You got Friday games, Saturday games,
yep,
bowl
yep,
games,
yep,
basketball picking up.
yeah, yeah.
The best
They
time of
have,
year.
they have the Commissioner's Cup, with getting going on right now too. So yeah, so it's a good time to be a sports fan. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. So yeah. So if you're looking for us any space in between shows, as always, we go live each and every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast Network. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Let the YouTube algorithm know we're doing big things out here. If you need to reach us on in our social media platforms, we're on all platforms that most people watch and use: TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Hit us up there. We're Lightning Fast FF across all social media networks. So we have a Gmail address as well, lightningfastff@gmail.com. So if you need to drop us a line there, you can do that. But as always, man, we dropping content each and every day throughout the week. Live show on Wednesday, content Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So check that out. That should get you completely prepared for your week. And remember, the game started tomorrow at 12 noon. So get your lineup set, get them locked in, get up early tomorrow morning, do your stinker tinkers, get your lineup locked, and get everything rocked and roll so you can be ready and don't miss out on any fantasy
Let's
money.
ride.
Right, there you go. Any
Nick
fantasy
Cage,
money.
gone in 60 seconds, man.
That's right. Indeed, indeed, indeed. So yeah. So that's gonna do it for us, man. We're gonna be back,
Yes,
like I
sir.
said, next week as always, man. We hope everybody has a good holiday, man. And hope everybody wins their fantasy match this week and come back next week and let us know how you did. All right,
Absolutely,
AG.
man.
Any final words, any parting words for the fans before we get out of here?
Nah, man, just like you hit it on the head, man. Hope everyone has a great holiday season, gets to spend some time with family, enjoy some good food, enjoy some good football. I hope all those things, even for my fantasy opponents, just so you don't win.
Oh,
That
okay.
includes you, I guess, Coach. So sorry. But
Oh, indeed, indeed.
respectfully, of course. With
Fair
all
enough.
due respect.
Well, it's same to you. Same to you.
Yeah,
Play well, but not
exactly.
beat me. How
It
about
goes
that?
both ways. Yes.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. All
Ah,
right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, man. So that's gonna do it for us this week. Like so, we'll be back next week as well. Check us out on YouTube each and every day, 3:00 or later, depending on when we're trying to drop content. But sometime in the afternoon. Sometime in the afternoon when we're dropping content.
it's
Playing a
around.
little roulette with the algorithm right now, but we drop every day. We drop every day. So check us out. And we'll be back next week, man. So in the meantime, between time, I'm Coach Defense. That is the real AG Alex Givens. Until next week, we'll see you when we see you. Step up and lock it down.